The Krillian war fleet descended upon Earth's colonies like a plague of metal locusts, their ships blotting out the stars. They had conquered 47 species across the galactic arm, each civilization falling within weeks of first contact. The Krillians brought hellfire and devastation, their plasma weapons reducing cities to glass, their shock troops methodical in their extermination protocols. Commander Lena Vasquez watched the orbital bombardment from the underground bunker on Proxima Station, her jaw clenched so tight her teeth ached. The colony she'd spent 5 years building was gone. 20,000 souls evaporated in brilliant flashes of superheated death. The Krillians had given no warning, no demands. They simply appeared and began the slaughter. "They're broadcasting," her communications officer said, his voice hollow. "Same message they sent to the Taurans before wiping them out. Submit or cease." 48 hours to respond. Lena's dark eyes reflected the dying light of her world on the monitors. "Get me Captain Oliver Chen on the Prometheus." The Krillians had studied humanity for months before striking. They knew about human technology, human weapons, human military doctrine. What they didn't know, what they couldn't know, was what humans became when you took everything from them. Oliver's face appeared on the screen, his usually warm features carved from stone. The Prometheus had been en route to Proxima when the attack began, arriving just in time to watch the massacre from a distance too far to intervene. "Lena," he said simply. His ship had been her home once before she'd transferred to colony administration, before she'd fallen in love with the idea of building instead of destroying. "They think they've brought hell to us," Lena said, her voice soft and deadly. "They have no idea what we're about to bring to them." Oliver nodded slowly. "The Council is calling for evacuation and negotiation." "The Council can go to hell with the Krillians," Lena replied. "We're not evacuating. We're not negotiating. We're implementing Protocol Nightfall." There was a long pause. Protocol Nightfall had been proposed during the Unity Wars, then immediately classified and shelved. It was psychological warfare taken to an extreme that made even hardened military commanders uncomfortable. It wasn't about winning battles. It was about breaking the enemy's will so completely that they would never threaten humanity again. Lena, that's beyond anything They vaporize children, Oliver. They're broadcasting footage of our dead as a warning to other colonies. They want to terrify us into submission. Her voice dropped to a whisper that somehow carried more menace than a shout. "Let's show them what human terror actually looks like." The Krillian High Command received humanity's response 36 hours later. Not words, but a data packet. Surveillance footage from their own ships, their own quarters recorded over the past 3 days. Humans had already infiltrated their fleet. The message was clear. "We are already among you and you never knew." But that was just the beginning. The Krillians prided themselves on their military efficiency and their hive-structured chain of command. Oliver's cyber warfare division turned that strength into a weakness. They didn't just hack Krillian systems, they made the ships themselves seem haunted. Life support would flicker in empty corridors. Automated doors would seal, trapping individual soldiers in darkness. Weapon systems would activate at random, forcing ships to power down their arsenals. The Krillians weren't afraid of death. But uncertainty? That was new. Lena led the ground operation personally. Using captured Krillian transports, small human teams infiltrated occupation forces on 3 worlds. They didn't engage in firefights. Instead, they disappeared Krillian soldiers one by one, leaving behind unsettling tableaus. A soldier's weapon, carefully disassembled and arranged in a perfect circle. A helmet filled with native flowers. An empty uniform standing upright in an abandoned building. The psychological reports from Krillian command ships began showing unprecedented stress levels. Their soldiers, bred for combat, were requesting to leave planets humans still occupied. Some refused to patrol alone. Some refused to patrol at all. "They're calling us demons," Oliver reported during a strategy session. "Their word translates to the ones who walk through walls and steal souls." Lena studied the tactical display. The Krillian fleet had pulled back from 2 colonies, consolidating around their primary target. New Brasilia, the capital of human expansion in this sector. They were learning, adapting. It was time to teach them the final lesson. "How many volunteers do we have for Operation Endgame?" she asked. "All of them," Oliver said quietly. "Every single human left in the sector has volunteered. New Brasilia didn't evacuate when the Krillian armada arrived. Instead, the entire population of 2 million went silent. No communications, no energy signatures, no movement. The city appeared completely dead. When Krillian troops landed, they found a ghost metropolis. Buildings intact, vehicles in the streets, meals half-eaten on tables. But no people, no bodies, nothing. The troops spread through the city in careful formation, following doctrine, checking every building. But with each block, with each empty home filled with evidence of lives interrupted, the unease grew. Where were the bodies? Where was the resistance? Then the whispers started. Every Krillian soldier began hearing it through their helmet comms. Not words, but sounds, breathing, footsteps that matched their own. Children's laughter echoing from nowhere. And underneath it all, a countdown in a human voice descending from 100. At 0, the humans revealed themselves. They hadn't fled. 2 million civilians had hidden in underground shelters, waiting for the Krillian ground forces to commit fully to occupying an empty city. Now they emerged from every building, every alley, every sewer grate. Not with weapons. They carried tools, kitchen implements, whatever was at hand. They didn't attack. They simply surrounded the Krillian forces in absolute silence. An ocean of humanity pressing in from all sides. The Krillian troops, warriors who'd faced down armies, broke. They fired wildly into the crowd, but for every human that fell, 10 more stepped forward. The civilians kept coming, silent and relentless, their sheer mass and determination creating a living prison. Krillian soldiers began surrendering, some throwing down their weapons and simply sitting on the ground, overwhelmed by the impossibility of fighting an entire population that refused to show fear. Lena's voice broadcast across all channels, human and Krillian. You brought hell to our worlds thinking we would break like the others. You forgot something crucial. Humans were born in hell. We evolved fighting for survival on a death world where everything tried to kill us. You brought us fire and death. We mastered those before we left our caves. Oliver added from the Prometheus, now flanked by every human warship in the sector. Your mistake wasn't attacking us. Your mistake was thinking we would fight by your rules. We don't have rules. We have survival instincts that predate civilization itself. The Krillian High Command, watching their ground forces collapse under the weight of human persistence, and their fleet commanders requesting retreat, received one final message. It was a simple video. Lena and Oliver, standing in the center of New Brasilia, surrounded by millions of humans. Behind them, captured Krillian soldiers sat unharmed, being given water and food by the same population they'd come to exterminate. You can leave, Lena said. Take your soldiers. Tell your empire what you learned here. Humans don't need to be the strongest or the fastest or the most advanced. We just need to be more stubborn than you, more creative, more willing to do whatever it takes. Oliver continued. You brought hell and we showed you something worse. Humanity united, backed into a corner with nothing left to lose and everything to prove. There is no weapon in the universe more dangerous than a human being who's decided they're already dead. The Krillian fleet withdrew within 48 hours. The High Command, for the first time in their civilization's history, issued an official statement declaring an entire species off-limits for conquest. The human worlds were marked in their star charts with a new designation. The translation, roughly, meant the cost exceeds all value. Lena stood in the ruins of Proxima Station months later, watching construction drones rebuild what had been lost. Oliver joined her, both of them older, wearier, but unbroken. They'll tell stories about this, Oliver said. About the day humanity showed the galaxy what we're really capable of. Lena nodded slowly. Good, let them tell stories. Let every species that looks at Earth and thinks we're easy prey remember what happened here. We didn't win because we were better warriors. We won because we understood something they didn't. What's that? Humans don't have a warrior culture or a military culture. We have a survival culture, and survival doesn't care about honor or glory or fair fights. Survival is about being the last one standing no matter what it takes. She turned to face him, a ghost of a smile on her lips. They brought hell. We showed them that humans invented it first. In the years that followed, the Krillian Empire fell into decline, their expansion halted, their warriors' morale shattered by nightmares of empty cities and silent crowds. But humanity? Humanity rebuilt, stronger and more united than ever before, because that's what humans do. They endure, they adapt, they survive, and they never ever forget.